What is up, everyone? In this video, we're going to talk about whether if you should be pulling for Albedo or Eula or else. I know that a lot of people would say Albedo is a very F2P friendly character. The way you build him, yes, that is correct. If you do have Albedo, you would probably go for Harbinger of Dawn. For a 3-star weapon, this is pretty broken. Because of the way you play Albedo, you place your E, swap out to a different character, and then you still get this bonus, and he is not gonna take any damage because he's not gonna be on the field. So, one of the best in-slot weapon, in my opinion, for Albedo is gonna be Harbinger of Dawn, if you had to build him. For artifacts, for the best build, you would probably have to go for 2-piece Archaic. 2-piece Defender's Will gives you extra defense, and then if you were to have this build, you'd probably have to go for Flower and the Feather, so that you don't miss out too much on the defense percentage on the Sands and Circlet. However, you'd probably notice that when you're farming for artifacts, you would get a lot of defense. And then whenever you get something with the defense main stats, everything is gonna go into crits. So, I don't even have any sets right now, and I have managed to get a lot of defense with a lot of crit rolls. Look at this. This is almost a 40 CV Circlet. For a geo damage bonus, I was able to find something like this. My Noelle was using it, but Albedo came out, so Albedo's using it now. For Sands, you want to go for defense. This is also another 40 CV piece. So overall, stats-wise, it's going to be pretty good. He's not in the party, so he has 45, 198. But with the weapon effect, that's going to be 28 plus 45. That is pretty good ratio. But, is he really F2P friendly? Let me ask you that. What is the benefit of having Albedo in your team? There are some characters that I really regret spending money on, and that would be Albedo. There are so many other characters that you can use instead of Albedo to have better synergy for your team. And for constellations, like, his constellations are so weird. C1 gives you more energy, which seems to be nice. C2, every time you do damage with Transient Blossom, that is that Geo Flower thing. After you put down E and then you attack the enemy, you do Geo damage, right? That is the Transient Blossom. And then every time you do that, you get this little stack so that when you use your ult, each flower would do more damage, and it stacks up to 4 times. C4, the plunging attack damage was the biggest debate of all time. And then C6, when you're protected by a shield created by Crystallize, your damage is increased by 17%. You know, all these things, if they were all multiplies, then that would have been nice. But they're not, they're additive. Like for example, let's take Xiao as an example. Albedo C4 is not as useful as when you have Bennett in your team. You use Bennett Q, Xiao ult to do plunge attack, he does more damage when you have Albedo in the team. So you might be asking, why don't you have Albedo and Bennett in the team? I don't understand why people are trying to say that Albedo is a very good character. If people had to ask me, do I need to spend money for Albedo, I would say no. But if somebody gives you Albedo for free, then yes. However, when you're trying to encourage other people to spend money on a character that is not so good, I don't know. I don't think it's something good. So, other than Harbinger of Dawn, you can probably use Jade Cutter, but at this point, that means you're a whale. Because why would you let Albedo use Jade Cutter? If you're F2P or small spender, when you have Jade Cutter, you can probably use it on Xingqiu, you can probably use it on Kaya, or maybe Jean, if you have Jean by any chance. Why would you give it to Albedo? So in my opinion, I don't think you should be going for Albedo. If you have your Primal Gems all saved up, there is a character coming out that I have recommended before. This is not a leak or anything like that, but we have had plenty of reruns for characters. I'm suspecting that we will have either Xiao rerun or Ganyu rerun soon. So if you were comparing Albedo with Ganyu, you have to go for Ganyu. You have to trust me on this, okay? And then can we move on to Eula? Eula is the character that I really like and I don't regret using money for. However, I did check her damage at C0. And yes, if you have all those setups, for example, you would have Bennett, you would have Superconduct, and have all those things with some nice F2P weapon at level 90. Some people said they can do maybe about 300k damage. That is a big damage, yeah? I believe that is. But before you do that, you're gonna have to have a setup. Because Eula Q has big multiplier, one downside of focusing everything on Eula's Q damage is that if you miss the enemy, or if you miss the crit, the damage loss is pretty huge. You'd probably have to do that again until Eula crits. When I was carrying so many people from Asia server, I gave Eula 80% crit rate so that every time when I use my burst, it would crit 100%. And for the weapon, for DPS like this, it is quite expensive in order for you to do big PP damage. So, obviously, Song of Broken Pines is for her Q, like burst damage. And then with that enhanced attack speed, you'd probably be able to do 1 or 2 attacks. And the next best in slot weapon, I can probably think of Aklomaru. You can also use this on Beidou. And there's also Fish, which they gave you for free. And the real F2P weapon would be Snow-Tomed Star Silver. And Serpent Spine is $10. I would say using your resource on Serpent Spine is always a plus, because whether if you use it on Eula or not, you can probably easily give it to somebody else. Or Prototype Archaic. You can use whatever, but when you're using these kind of weapons, you can't expect too much damage from your Eula. You can use the Unforged, or you can also use the Wolf's Gravestone. But according to the experiment that I did, I can't really expect too much damage unless you were able to proc that passive. And for the artifacts, you would be going for a 4-piece Pale Flame set and the Constellation C6 Eula versus non-C6 Eula. The playstyle is a lot different. I'm not telling you guys, or I'm not encouraging you guys to go for C6, but Eula, after C6, the satisfaction was really huge. So from using Q to get the stacks for 7 seconds to use Q, use hold E, and then swap out, I still do a big amount of damage, just like that. Because by herself, with her Q, even without any stacks, well, technically she does start with stacks, but after I use hold E and swap out, I do like 200 to 300k damage, just like that. In the meanwhile, F2P or small spender Eula has to stay on the field for 7 seconds with all those super conducts, Bennett's Q. It's just another story. So if somebody says, is Eula worth it at C0? I would say that you should go for Eula if you like her gameplay. It is definitely fun to play around with Eula. Then again, there is a very high chance for us to get Ganyu or Xiao at 2.4. Because, look at this. Zhongli got a rerun. Albedo's coming back. We didn't have Kazuya yet, but if he comes back, then it's a good thing. Venti had a rerun. Eula is getting a rerun. We got the second rerun of Tartaglia. We got Hu Tao. We got Klee. So, what characters are coming back? Most likely, we're going to be getting Xiao or Ganyu, or even both. Because they started doing this double banner rerun, I think it's a good thing. Some people were actually mad at MiHoYo how unfriendly they are with F2Ps. That's not true, because Genshin Impact, as far as I know, is the most F2P friendly game in the world. It's not like F2Ps were able to get every single 5-star heroes that they have released. So what is wrong with having 2 character reruns? So overall, in a long run, it's gonna be beneficial for F2Ps, small spenders, and MiHoYo as well. Whales, they don't give a shit, they just pull for everything anyways. My final opinion on whether if you should be pulling for Albedo or Eula or something else, I would say that if you like the character design, if you like the playstyle, then you should go for them. If you're kind of a person who would want to go for the satisfaction of the amount of effort or the money that you spend, I wouldn't say the C0 of both of those characters are not that great. The difference in damage or usefulness of Albedo at C0 versus C6 is about the same. But Eula, C6 is a different character. But I don't think that's overall worth $1,000 or even more. But for small spenders or F2Ps, remember, we haven't gotten our rerun for Ganyu and Xiao, and you have to understand that Ganyu and Xiao are very, very solid character at C0. If you want to ask me a question, you can always find me at twitch.tv/TenhaTV. I'm doing this giveaway here and there, so make sure you check me out there, and then make sure you say hi. I really hope that this video would help you decide on whether if you should be spending money for the rerun banner. Let me know which one you're gonna pull, and let me know why, okay? Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios.